Hello everyone, I am the Unity Dude, and in this tutorial I will show you how to create a camera that can dynamically focus on multiple objects. If you're looking for more advanced cameras, you can try out RPG cameras and controllers available on the Unity Asset Store. With this asset, you can add complex camera behaviors to your Unity game. The link for this asset is available in the description of the video. So let's get started with the tutorial. I have a simple scene with two capsules and a cube for the ground. And over here I have my camera looking at these two capsules. When I play the scene, I can move my capsules around, one using the WASD keys and the other using the arrow keys. So the first thing we are going to do is create a pivot for the camera. Parent the camera inside this pivot. Next, we are going to set the local rotation of the camera to 0, and we are going to adjust the rotation of the pivot so that the camera is looking at the capsules. So now that we have our scene ready, let's create a new script on the camera pivot. I will call this the Dynamic Camera Manager. Open up this new script, and the first thing we are going to do is create the required variables. We need to create variables for the camera reference, a variable for the reference of the camera pivot, and a reference of all the objects we want to focus in the camera. Next, let's add some code to make the camera look at the center of these objects. Create a new vector 3 called center, which we will initially set to 0. Add the positions of all the objects we want to focus inside this vector, and then divide it by the total number of objects. This will give us the center position of all the objects. And now we can just make the camera look at this center point. Back to Unity, assign the references of all the objects to the script, the camera pivot, and all the capsules we want to focus. And let's run the project to see how our camera behaves. As we can see, the camera now focuses on the center point of the capsules. However, when the capsules are too far apart, they are not visible in the camera. The next thing we want to do is zoom the camera in or out so that the capsules become visible on the screen. Back to our Unity script, we need to find how far each object is from the center of the camera viewport. We can find the position of each object on our camera viewport by using the function world-to-viewport-point. World-to-viewport-point will return a vector 3, giving us the position of the object inside the camera plane. If both the x and y coordinates are between 0 and 1, it means that the object is inside the camera's view. Otherwise, the object is not visible in the camera. In this case, we need to zoom the camera out. So let's write some code to find the position of the object furthest from the camera. Initially, we will set the furthest position to 0. Save this in a variable called maximum distance. Store the viewport position of the object in a vector 3 variable. Subtract 0.5 from both the x and the y axis of the position. This will change the center of the camera from 0.5 to 0. Next, calculate the absolute values of the x and y to remove the negative sign. This will give us the absolute x and y distance of the current object from the camera center. And now we just need to find the highest value and save it in the max distance variable. Once our for each loop is done, we will have the maximum distance any object has from the center of the camera. And finally, let's add the logic for zooming in and zooming out. If the maximum distance is larger than 0.5, it means that our object is no longer in the camera's view. However, we are going to use a distance of 0.45 just to make sure that the camera zooms out a bit further and the whole object is visible. In this case, we will move the camera backwards to zoom it out, and we can multiply it by the maximum distance so that when the objects are further from the camera, the zoom out will speed up. And also, let's add a speed variable which we can change from the editor. And my mistake, we are supposed to subtract this value so that the camera moves backwards and not forward. Next, to zoom out, we will check if the distance is less than 0.4. We will move the camera forwards to zoom it in. If the distance is between 0.4 and 0.45, we will do nothing. This will make the camera feel more smoother. And here, instead of multiplying by maximum distance, we want to multiply it by 1 minus maximum distance. And our script is now ready. Let's go back to Unity and test our project. Let's slightly adjust the speed of the capsules and the zoom and run the project. And all done. Our camera is working just as we want it to. When the objects move away from the camera automatically zooms out, and when they come closer to the camera center, the camera zooms in. That's it for how to create a camera that can focus on multiple objects. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more useful Unity tutorials.